Here we have an editor in his natural habit. He has just about finished his project, looking proud and pleased. There is one required step. Just add some background.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Crazy Wise Beast. Welcome to my channel again. Here's my brother. His name is Icarus. You may know that I did a couple of videos talking about my little brother, about drawing, about him.
Oh, you stink!
Well, fine dog. And we're going to talk about historical accuracy. I'm going to try keeping this video as short as possible. Yeah, that's him. Because I don't want to do too much editing. We're going to talk about a couple of accuracies about historical accuracy.
Hello, Zuko here.
There are two different types of historical accuracy. One is fictional and one is, well, real life. Let's go with the more easier one, real life historical events. We know the Egyptians were very good engineering folks, except maybe they're the worst plumbers on earth. We have found evidence they suck at building dams, because dams are supposed to be an arch against the water. They built just a regular wall and the water plowed through the dam. And the ancient Egyptians gave up as far as we could tell. We don't know how many times they could have done, or maybe it was the one and done and that was it. And they bared all those harsh weather and phenomenon. And you might be saying, well, couldn't they learn and probably get someone else? Back in those days, I think the ancient Egyptians were more prideful in their building craftsmen than they were about getting some foreigner to help them to build something. Especially if it came to dams, because I don't think dams were well known back then, or maybe they were just in their infancy, much like how the internet was. So there could have been some debate around that. We also know in archaeology, in two factions of it. One faction is mainstream archaeology. We all know they're trying to really do their desperate to say ancient Egyptians really did stack up their pyramids in this spiral pattern, and somehow, some way that worked. We don't find any ropes, no pulleys. We didn't find any written documentation or in their carvings saying they had hundreds of people pulling goddamn hundreds of tons of stone. Although there has been pushback to this theory.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That I would not call them pseudo. I'll call them other archaeology has been saying that either developed an instrument or some sort of device or something that helped them to use sounds and music to manipulate basically solid objects and stacking them on top. We have evidence that sound does manipulate solid objects to an extent. What the fuck? Is that technically reality warping? Maybe. But if you don't know what reality warping is, I'll tell you the simplest version is. Reality warping is basically magic without saying hocus pocus or doing any of the magic circles. And it's also kind of borderline on telepathic powers. That's basically what reality warping could be. I know that's super simplifying it, and those who know it more are probably saying that this is probably bullshit the way I described it, but I'll talk about that in powers and abilities, just not now. And we also discovered, and just veer off the ancient Egyptians for another example, that there was some sort of mass catastrophe happened twice in recent human history, 14,000 years ago, and another one, the date's a little debated, 12,000 years to 1200, 500 years ago. Meteor impacts came and hit Earth with air bursts to direct impacts that may have killed tons of megafauna, and when man came, is unfortunately our ancestors just taking the last little bits of those surviving populations and they died out.
No, you maniac! What are you doing? Only a fool would play God!
Had they survived today? No, they could have lasted a little longer. But maybe the dire wolf would have rebounded a little better. Maybe here in North America a little bit more. Or possibly Siberia. I'll talk a little bit about that on the werewolves a little bit more, and also the evidence. But we've also had evidence that the T-Rex had some sort of mating season of some kind, and T-Rexes, males in particular, had warred with each other to basically get females. Age-old cycle. You have to get to the greatest invention of all time, having sex.
What?
No, it's not the wheel. Now fuck off on that stupid pussy shit. So basically, in a sense, the T-Rex came to have basically more of an aggressive mating rituals, and they may have finding each other to basically have the females. We don't know if how long this mating season could have lasted. We have evidence of some males having more wounds on them when they're getting to start the mating season, allegedly, and some may not have had scars at all. There's a debate about that. I may say maybe some species may not have entirely kept up with the mating ritual. Some pockets may have just evolved different behaviors. Then again, I could be wrong, and maybe they just that one sneaky ass dude came and fucked the girl and left and didn't get his ass ripped to shreds. Could have been possible. And those are some of the historical accuracies. And we also have perfectly good examples of also this a little bit too much in one particular industry I've been noticing. The comic book industry has become aggressively a little too, how do I say this, woke, excessively. I think this is due to the comic book industry's nature that it keeps on retconning or ignoring previous people's work and constantly rebooting the character. Because if they did not constantly reboot the character or ignore people's previous work, I think we might have a fraction less of this. But basically, for some examples, Batman and Superman's sons are technically gay or bisexual. They have changed Iceman to being gay. They have gender swapped certain characters, I've been told. For the life of me, I don't care about them and I keep on forgetting about them. And they've also made certain big threats, punching bags, and to also...
Ah! No! Stop! I'm saying no! Ah! What kind of... It's making me watch!
Send a message about political reasons, which does not make sense. People don't like it when you fuck around with things they like to escape into fiction. Fiction is supposed to be technically escape from reality. Technically, sports is supposed to enable you and help you a little bit to deal with reality, but those have technically watered down over the years a little too much with journalists in particular. So that's one thing we're gonna have to figure out about that, how we get that back, then you might be saying. There has been some pushback against this stuff. Not so much on paleontological research. That's been locked down in step until literal boomers are out and Gen Xers, and then the other more qualified people who can actually take a look into a more thorough search onto that, then yeah. But when it comes to...
No, little German boy! Don't join the Black Templars!
Oh mein Gott! Der Codex Astartes
ist ein Wunsch auf Bullscheiße.
to fiction and all that, we can push back. That's the only thing we can push back. We could push against the wokeness. We could tell we don't like this, and we have this. There's a YouTuber who's named Young Ripa. He made the Ripaverse, and I have looked into this, and he had been very, very much discriminated. He was basically a black man in basically India when he was supposed to go into college, and he was facing a bunch of racist Indians who didn't want a black man there. No, he never went to India, as far as I know. But basically, he was treated like that when he made the Ripaverse, and they said a whole lot of shit. I wouldn't say it online. I would say it to your face if I never liked you, but I like the guys, so I found that very, very disgusting. To those who say they are progressive, usually are the ones who are the most overachieving people you found in high school and elementary school. They usually used to push as overachievers and always getting A's and shit. We're also finding this on some other stuff too, that they're trying to silence as much as possible. No, Elon Musk buying Twitter is not basically going to change anything. Elon Musk is in lockstep with cabal of rich folks. I think he's just playing into the game now. If you don't know what the cabal of rich folks is, it's basically rich people pretending they care about anything. There's probably some rich folks that do care about some honest things, like you and I would care about, but probably don't make a showboat about it, or maybe they don't want to talk about it. This is the end of the video.
He can't hurt you.
Are you sure about that? Oh my god!
I may bring back my little brother a couple more times, but I realized I had to bring him back in this video because I kind of forgot to bring him in the hero's journey, and I totally forgot 2 weeks later when I finished the video. So I'm making this up on this video. Maybe sometime I'll bring him some other videos. I will not bring him for any of the cryptid videos because he's not very well known in this stuff, and I'm going back into that research. I'll bring him more into more of my art projects that I've done in drawings and more discussions like this. You want to say anything, Icarus, to my audience? Like your social handles of any kind, if they want to follow you? Maybe not. Is it something else you want to talk about?
Sometimes the comic industry is kind of changing, but there's people who are pushing back and stuff like that.
I noticed this with individuals in the comic book industry. They're making their own stuff compete with the IDWs and DCs.
Yeah, they're doing that.
I don't see this with the people that are in the field itself, though. I'll make you want to keep on talking about this. I could keep...
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
keep on recording this and I'll separate it into another video.
No, we can talk about this later. But,
okay, whenever you want to talk about it, you could tell me. But do you want people to follow you in your socials? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
we could talk about that later.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't worry. It's in audio. It's in recording. I'm good at editing.
Okay. Follow me on Instagram on Icarus12WQ_EXQ. I post some drawings and stuff. I haven't done it for a while because my arm's sprained, like my wrist hurt.
Okay, yeah, that's right. You told me about that.
Yeah, I've been trying to recover that as fast as I can so I can redraw again. I also have a Twitter.
What?
At Icarus12WQ XP. So yeah, that's about it. Bye.
Alright, well, later. And you guys know my socials. I keep on putting it in there. The artist pictures and drawings will be also linked. Maybe some of the YouTubers' videos as well. I'll also say this. Yes, it is a cringy videos that I make, but I ask you this. I own my cringe. Can you tell that about your YouTuber if they own their cringe? Yeah, exactly. Would Crazy Lord Pies Beast go back to his alien genocide evil path? Nah, I've been warned by the Council of Flaming 5 not got to. Later, folks. Don't forget to eviscerate the like button. Don't forget to fire the subscribe button on a rocket. Get a cable company for that. Here's my Instagram account. I like the name and keeping it. Here's my Amino. And here's also my Reddit, as well as my ArtStation. Alright, and my Anger, too.
Let's go already!